Thank the Sony gods, it's the 20th of July, it's today, it's coming, it's finally here. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome back everybody, Jared here with another video for you, and today is a special day. All Sony video shooters, including myself, we have waited quite a while for this. 3 to 5 years, it's a pretty long wait. And thanks to Sony, we have seen so many camera companies evolve and grow their technology, some even surpassing what Sony can do at this current point. And admit it, some of you guys out there probably were tempted to switch or have already switched systems because of Sony lacking behind in their video specs with their 8-bit and 4K 25p, 30p and 1080p at 120 FPS, yeah, whatever. Ever since the A7S II came out with this set of specs, it has set like the standard for all Sony Alpha cameras, including the APS-C ones. And honestly, most of us have already grown tired of it and are expecting more because of what other camera companies are doing, like Panasonic, Canon and whatnot. I just accidentally hit my light, but whatever. And so yes, today is the day we shall see what Sony can do and what Sony shall deliver with their brand new A7S III. It is today, it is officially announced by Sony. It's not a rumor, it's not a myth anymore, it is here. Man, these few days has been crazy. Other than the shoots I've been on, yes, my equipment is strewn all over the floor right now. I'll pack up later because I'm more excited about this. All that aside, there has been crazy amount of rumors coming out, many YouTube videos about every single rumor that comes out on Sony Alpha Rumors. I mean, what the hell? I mean, you know, I could have sacrificed some sleep to make this video, but I decided, you know, why not? Let's just wait for all the rumors to come in and start to settle in before we actually consolidate most of them today, right at this moment. This will be an update to the previous video I did a few days or a week back. I forgot the time, but yeah, around there. So without further ado, enough of this chit chat, let's get into the specs. So the current batch of Sony Alpha cameras, whether it's full frame or APS-C, okay, leaving out the ZV one, the color science has never been something to brag about, or it has never been up there. And well, we all know Canon and Nikon has the better color science, but with the recent release of the Sony ZV-1, yes, that tiny little compact point and shoot vlogging camera thingy, Sony really did show us what they could do with the colors, and it looked brilliant. And if you see in this video by Pro AV TV, they explain more about how S-Cinetone on the FX9 is definitely much better than S-Log3 or the standard Rec 709 profile. And like they explain, the highlights are more controlled. At the same time, it doesn't have the low contrast feel of S-Log3. So to have this S-Cinetone from the FX9 in the A7S III that you can run and gun in weddings and other types of situations, events, and even to use as probably your A-cam or your B-cam on a professional film setup, it definitely is up there to handle the tough challenges and situations on set. So in the previous round, they only said records full HD up to 240 frames per second, 4K 120 frames per second, 10-bit 422 and RAW over HDMI. Some people, I mean, it was down for debate whether it's just all of that over HDMI or just the 4K 120 frames per second RAW and it has to be over HDMI. So now it's more specific. It says it will do 4K 60p, 10-bit 422 internal, but if you want the 4K 120 FPS, 10-bit 422 or RAW, or the 1080p 240 FPS, it will be over HDMI. And it leaves me to wonder, what will it do to the A7 IV's video capabilities, because I kinda have high hopes for that camera as well. But we shall just leave that for another video, because this video is about the A7S III. So subscribe down below to stay tuned for when that video comes out. So for the lucky bunch of people who got to test this camera, they probably reported to this Sony Alpha Rumors guy that there's no overheating issues for about 1 hour in the highest frame rate. So yes, ultimately it's still a small compact mirrorless body. It's not a camcorder that is built to run on and on throughout the day. So don't expect too much from it. Not overheating for over an hour is a good thing already, unlike some camera company that came out with some camera that overheats in 30 minutes. I mean, Sony is really doing something here, you know. And the next new thing is the UHS-2 and the CF Express Type-A card slot. So honestly, when the first rumor came out that the A7S III supports CF Express Type-A also, I wasn't very sure how to feel. I mean, yes, we have the option of the faster write speed. Sony has finally got out of their SD card thinking. But for me personally, I would prefer both card slots to be writing at the same speed, because sometimes when I shoot my events, I load a UHS-2 card into the UHS-2 card slot, put a UHS-1 card into a UHS-1 card slot. You know, in those situations with my A7 III, when the UHS-1 card doesn't write fast enough, there's no point for the UHS-2 card slot, because the camera still locks up after a certain amount of shots to buffer the image into the card. And this one fast and one slower card thing has honestly annoyed me to the point that I don't see the purpose of loading a UHS-2 card into my cameras anymore, because what's the point? And this has turned into one of the major factors why I want to upgrade from my A7 III to the A7 IV when it does come out, because of the probability that it will have two UHS-2 card slots and it will write at the same speed. But just this something lit up my eyes when it says each of the two slots in the A7S III takes them both. So that means Sony probably engineered the card slot to take both CF Express Type-A and UHS-2 SD cards. I mean, I'm quite excited to see what will happen, because for somebody who spent around $4,000 in the US and $5,000–6,000 here in Singapore on a camera already, your wallet is kind of crying right there, and you still have to buy CF Express cards that are like so expensive. So this really provides us videographers with the flexibility. So if you bought the camera, okay, I don't want to spend any more money, but I have UHS-2 cards lying around, sure, I can use my UHS-2 card. But I mean, if you have the money, you want the durability and the faster write speed of CF Express, go ahead and get the CF Express card. Leaked images of the new A7S III, and yeah, some of them were blurry images, but you can see the type of setup they were on, and at the same time clear images were released as well. But we shall just get to the point that the video record button is now on top of the camera rather than right beside the viewfinder. I mean, honestly, I'm okay with the right beside viewfinder, but because the A7S III is a video-centric camera, so the new video recording button is now on top of the camera, it's right beside the shutter button. I mean, for a camera of this ergonomics, it makes sense. So some more tidbits you see in the title right there. Gyroscope data will be available for post-stabilization like the FX9. Digital image stabilization like the ZV-1 will be available for the first time on a full-frame Sony camera, and this does not require further crop, only a slight crop previously mentioned for 4K, and the 4K is still 1:1 pixel readout. This is a good thing because Sony never really had the edge in IBIS technology. Nikon and Canon does a better job, I feel. Some people feel that yes, maybe Sony having their IBIS not so powerful is a good thing as well, but for Canon and Nikon you can still walk around and the IBIS will stabilize quite a bit of the shots. But for Sony, the IBIS is really just good for hand holding and just staying there, and yeah, it's not the best in the market, but with the digital image stabilization like Canon just did, it should really work out. Next is there may be features left out at launch that will be available via a software update, like the Sony FX9 version 2.0. I don't know why Sony does this, but let's hope it's for the best, and when the camera is launched, it doesn't launch with disappointing specs, I guess. And hopefully the version 2.0 does come quickly to help filmmakers bring this camera to the maximum of its capabilities. I mean, people who have tested the camera, they are happy with it, but let's hope the version 2.0 makes people even happier. Compared to the FX9 or the A7 III, this camera does not downsample 6K to 4K because it requires a 24 megapixel sensor. The A7S III is going to have a 12 megapixel sensor, so it's 4K 1:1 readout. Anyone who wants quality full frame 4K that just works without any limitations will be very pleased with the camera. Let's just say it's not a toy, it's a workhorse. Well, I mean, that just means that people who have the camera in their hands, they are happy with their camera, like I said, and that means most of us will be happy with the camera as well. And probably a little jab right there, the marketing phrase they could use is 4K that just works. Unlike some other recent 4K or 8K camera from the competition, well, we all know who that is, and it is Canon. One more Sony A7S III picture with the Atomos. Yes, Sony is working with Atomos to, push this camera to the limits and exceed expectations, I guess. And this is the setup that will really push the camera out there. And as we can see from the picture, it has that Tilty 3P LT screen that we have all been hoping for since the start of time. Yes, it's finally here. Also, we have the full leaked product images of the new Sony A7S III, as you can see here and here. And as you can see, the C1 button and the recording button has swapped positions. Now the recording button is right next to the shutter button. Like I said, for videographers who use this camera, for this kind of ergonomics, the recording button being in that place is more suitable. But if I'm looking at my cage right now, on my A7R III, if the recording button is placed there, it might be a challenge to press it. But hopefully these small rig third-party brands will come up with a cage to cater for the new spot of the recording button. And as you can see, similar form factor to the A7R IV that we all like. I mean, it's not as good as the DSLRs, but it's definitely much better than, the A7S II. There's a locking mechanism for the mode dial so that you won't accidentally switch your modes while recording video. The new big puffy thumbstick and buttons that we all like on the A7R IV. And this is something I just saw this morning when I woke up. Sony has heard our prayers. The A7S III will have a new menu system. So as you can see from the image there, it is like a camcorder style menu system. Yes, it's still classified into all those funny little sections, but no big deal. And wait, page 2 out of 49? Well, that's probably a lot of pages to go through when you buy your camera. Hopefully this time the touchscreen is extended to the menu system as well, because it is quite annoying because every other camera brand has a touch menu, but Sony still relies on you moving the stick or dial to navigate whatever you want, and it's quite slow honestly. But changing the interface, I already got used to the current Sony menus. I don't know why people keep complaining about it. I feel that as long as whatever you need, you just put it under the My Menu thing, you should be able to find your settings quite easily. So not a really big deal for me, but if Sony adds on the touchscreen function, I think it'll be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So even when I'm editing this video, more Sony a7S III leaks came out on Sony Alpha Rumors, so now I'm gonna cover it. So it shows the new menu and camera ports. So menu I showed just now, I'm not gonna show again. The camera ports, it shows the CF Express Type A and the UHS-2 SD cards. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see that there will be a card reader and the CF Express Type A cards that will be launched with the Sony a7S III. And these CF Express cards can read and write around 700-800 Mbps, and that is significantly more than my UHS-2 cards that only do 100 to 200 for each. And finally, to support all those crazy specs from this tiny little camera, it's not that micro HDMI port that every time the cable snaps and breaks and it leaves the thing in your camera. It is finally a full HDMI port where you can plug the full HDMI in, which is a good thing so that it doesn't break, and yeah, it's more durable in the sense. And that's it for today. I'm really excited for what Sony is going to bring to us later with the a7S III. I really hope that, you know, most of these rumors are true because it looks like a really exciting camera. And I really hope Sony doesn't show us, you know, a PowerPoint presentation that can be done like a 7-year-old, like, you know, the previous presentation. But hopefully some demonstration, some awesome video to kick off the launch of this exciting new camera. These cameras from different sources in Sony Alpha Rumors has impressed many people who got to try the cameras, and I hope this camera has also exceeded your expectations other than the price wise. But whatever the case, Sony has finally made an improvement, a big step ahead in their video capabilities with the a7S III. We have waited a long time for this, so just sit back and enjoy the presentation later. Once again, leave a like, subscribe and comment down below your thoughts on the upcoming a7S III in a few hours. Has it exceeded your expectations, and has the rumors really hyped up and excite you for the camera to come? And also any other topics you would like me to discuss in a future video, and see you soon.